Welcome Traveler, I'm Free2Play and I'm a guide for successful free-to-play adventure in Ostera. Today we beat the Elite Tower Floor 1 with only general pool units and Richard to help us out, causing enough damage in the first two attempts. What also helps here is Jorn's A4 accessory, which decreases sword resistance, but let's begin from the start. So the last time I have beaten this wolf, I have brought a pure elemental team. It was a fire and that was really not the best decision because the damage output was really low in comparison to a physical team. So bringing sword, which is the best alternative here instead of using an elemental team against this wolf, you are sure to complete this challenge in between the next days so that you get the 1000 gold gemstones before this year is over. So using Kless instead of Viola is just because of the 30% physical defense down, which Viola does not do. She does 25%. We have Sarisa, which caps the sword resistance down from Richard. Strength of numbers is coming before Hayes is going to break, with the sword resistance down and with his own physical defense down by 20%. So this is an extremely huge power boost for every warrior in the front, which makes Rinyu obsolete. So if you didn't pull for her, it's no big deal as long as you have Hayes here, which is just amazing because the wolf always has fire weakness on him. The only thing which you have to do is to have him only at one shield, because he has only 2 fire moves and both of them are only hitting for one single time. So before shield shaving we're going for the espionage and the armor corrosive and another shower of roses, so that we increase the duration of all the debuffs the wolf has, and we just take Hayes to the front so that Richard can regain a few of SP. Then we're going to shield shave a bit more, and Kless is helping you too with 2 shields he can break, and Primrose is also helping with 3 attacks, which we can also use until the sword weakness drops. So this way Lars and Olberic can regain SP over the time, and because of Hayes being in the front at the break, we have Richard in the back so he can recover a bit of SP before going for a full powered rippling slice. And this should hit the sword resistance down debuff so that we don't have to use Sarisa's flame scheme and only use her for the espionage and for breaking the enemy's shields. And that true unbending blade was just amazingly strong, and after that break we're exactly at 80% of health. So we needed 10 turns to shave 20% of damage from this wolf, and this without so much limited units. So the wolf has stored 5 BP now and is going for that attack. We're using that for the bolstering smoke and breaking a few shields, and when the 5 BP attack comes, it is totally fine here with those units in the front getting the increased defense from Primrose. So this is totally fine here. The only thing which is necessary is that you don't build fortune weapons with defense down in its swords, because with multiple attacks it does really matter for the final damage output in the end, as I have experienced. So as soon as I get rid of the minus 150 HP and the minus 100 physical defense, the wolf couldn't do so much damage against my units, and it was all good now. So we have 3 turns left and I wanted to go for another break in the next turn, and that's why I decided to shave enough shields. But Olberic only hit 3 times here, and if he hit 5 times I could use Hayes again for the final break and really good damage, but because I didn't know if it's working now, I decided for the mighty leading assault. The only thing which could improve the damage here was to not use the max BP moves right now, because in this turn I'm going for the raging slash for the 5% damage more. So this would benefit when they are going for their max BP attacks, because the maximum result of damage would be a bit higher higher than it was before, but the damage is still very good, and after recovering all of them with the free recovery per week, we can do this team again. But now I get the crest of House Brown so that we can increase the damage done from Olberic's spare, and we take away Lars' full speed, so trigger that off, I will explain later. And don't equip the Faded Knights Ardent Medal if you don't really need that. You have to reset that run if the Rippling Slice does not affect a sword resistance down, and when Olberic is hitting 5 times with his 1000 spears before the second break of the wolf. So the procedure is the same here. We're going for the break with Hayes again, and we're only using a 0 BP while Blazing Blade and Unbending Blade, because the damage shouldn't be too high, because otherwise we run into the Largo problem that we're going for an HP threshold we shouldn't get over, so that he has still the sword weakness. I used 0 at the break and only 2 after the break turn, and with this it was totally fine, and I was exactly before touching the 40% threshold here. So when Olberic only hit it 3 times or 4 times at maximum with his 1000 spears, he hit 3 times, he has 4 shields left. So we're using the Raging Slash now, the Mighty Leading Assault right afterwards, so that we are able to do the most amount of damage right now in the next 2 turns. Otherwise we don't have sword weakness and can't do any more damage except from Olberic, who does use his spare. So we break the last time here a bit before the middle of the spare weakness symbol, and we're using the maximum BP for the attacks, and you can see that the damage outcome is amazing. The Hawk is diving for the maximum amount of damage I have equipped on Serenoa, and the true Unbending Blade is reaching the damage cap too, as Serenoa did, and we're at the red zone here. But the weaknesses change at the end of that turn, so you can still use 1 Wild Blazing Blade and the Rippling Slice to get away 9 shields of the wolf, but take care of the debuff from Class in the next turn, so that you don't forget about that. And what could be important too is that you prepare for the 5 BP attack from the wolf, which I didn't do. Normally I take Primrose to the front and do the bolstering smoke here, but I just didn't do that in this case, and I was really lucky that everyone survived this attack, and that the next attacks which came only hit Serenoa, and they were not hitting that hard. So we just continue that battle here. So we're going to shave the last shields here possible with Sarisa and with the double break from Class, so that we have only 1 shield left, and we can still use Haze to break. Even if the sword resistance down is not mattering anymore, we still have the physical defense down decrease, which does matter for the 1000 spears from Olberic. But I still used a Wild Blazing Blade here at maximum, and it is still doing good damage. So, and Serenoa's ultimate is also now a very good choice here, because you can now give Olberic 1 BP more, so that we can still do 100,000 damage here. And if the turns are running out, we still have lost 3 times Wind Attack, which is shaving more shields than Class is able to do right now with his double break. And for the last break I needed to use Sarisa here, so that I am able to do the most amount of damage in the last 2 turns I have left, and I'm still very satisfied with the damage done, because of Richard supporting every warrior here and also boosting the spare damage, which is the only one who is doing really good damage in this phase of the battle. The target is to have only 20% of health left on the wolf so that I can use a second team to get away the last HP left on the wolf, and I decided for a dog team here with Gilderoy in the front tanking the damage. But now that damage done is really huge, so you have to decrease the elemental and physical attack from the start, and then Stead has to heal Gilderoy because otherwise the attack would be disastrous for Gilderoy. The elemental attack has been capped by Viola in the last turn too, and now we're capping the elemental and physical defense from Gilderoy, and because he has the gold Balin cap he has to attack now, so his healing swing would be obsolete and is not doing any damage at all, but he tanks that very good, and it would be even better if I had Miles A4 on Lynette, but I couldn't use that anymore. So you really have to take a look what is the equipment which you don't really need for the first two battles, because you need accessories for the third, and this will be a very important battle where you need a good tank who also wears 50% anti-bleeding accessories 2 times so that he is not affected by the bleeding status, which would have caused me to give up on that battle entirely and not doing it again. So I used the Aura of Wisdom from Stead so we can use Lynette in the next turn to cap the elemental attack of the full front row here, and 1 Darkscar to inflict bleeding on the wolf so that we have 30% damage up from Stead and Jumela, which does matter. If the bleeding status has not been inflicted on the wolf, maybe reset here, because you see I'm in turn 15 now and we need a few turns to build up everything and to defend the group so that we are able to do that amount of damage, which is not really huge in comparison to the warrior team from before, because the elemental defense of this enemy is just so enormous, as I said at the beginning. And if you have seen my other video where I have explained all the traits from that wolf, what he is doing and how I have countered all his battle skills, just take a look at this video here too. So this is the turn he's going for his full BP attack. We're going for the Warrior's Waltz and for a Miraculous Dance to heal everyone up, and this is still doing a lot of damage, but luckily most of the time he is random targeting the second attack, and the third one is the true Lacerating Pursuit, which is doing no damage at all, so everyone survives in this turn. So we are buffing the damage even further with the Child of the Dance, and Primrose is doing her Ronda of Dawn, and it is really amazing that you can use Primrose 2 times, once in her EX form and once not, so this is a really cool gimmick in this battle here. We have also inflicted the bleeding status again, so that the damage done is really immense now too, but what I did miss in the last turn was a Medica, so that Jumela is healed in the breaking turn. She is not, and that's why she is so getting wasted when the wolf is coming out of the break, but there is not so much damage which I have to inflict on the wolf, so it is fine like that, and Therion is putting an end to this battle here. So using almost only general pull units to get down this wolf is really possible, but there is one fortune weapon I really want to talk about now. It is the one from Gilderoy, because that one needs to decrease only physical attack, and as you have seen, this is not affecting his healing capability, it is only affecting the damage done, but this is, well, not mattering at all in this team composition. So you have still 2 weeks to get those 1000 gold gemstones, and I hope that these tips help you reach that. And if you'd like this channel to class up, I really appreciate a subscription if you didn't already, and give thumbs up to this video if you liked what you've seen. See you next time, you're free to play.